Okay, listen guys, gals, picture yourself where Reno is, picture yourself with Custer. Remember Custer, we'll talk about that. So, the next quiz topic is the Battle of the Little Bighorn Part 2, and the first subtopic is Custer's advance along the bluffs to Custer Hill. And Custer Hill is an area where he will meet his demise. It's just a hill down from the Little Bighorn River. Now remember, Custer is on top of the bluffs watching Reno engage. But I told you he didn't stay there long enough to see how successful he was. So after he split from Reno, he went up toward the bluffs and he did three things. Okay? This is the three things Custer does when he's up on the bluffs looking down upon the area in which Reno is going to charge. Okay? Three things Custer does on top of the bluffs shortly after splitting up from Reno. One, we talked about, he stops at the top of the bluff and watches Reno engage the hostiles across the Little Bighorn River. So one of the things Custer does as he's up on the bluffs is he stops on top and watches Reno's initial engagement with the hostiles across the Little Bighorn River. So he's looking from the bluffs over the top of the Little Bighorn River into that valley. That's why we call it the valley fight. And he's watching Reno charge the Native American village and form the skirmish line. Okay? Now, at this point, this is still number one, this is when he sees the Indian village for the first time. As he's watching Reno engage in the valley, he looks farther down the valley and he can see the Indian village. The problem is he cannot see how large it is because of the trees along the river. Because there's a massive, you'll see a massive area of trees. So he could see some teepees in the village, but because of the number of trees in the brush, he could not see how large it was. Okay? So the first thing he does is he stops at the top of the bluff and watches Reno engage with the Indians across the Little Bighorn River. And it is this point, in the number one thing he does, that he can look off and see the village, but he's only seeing part of it because of the foliage. Okay? He isn't seeing the whole thing, so he doesn't know how large it is. The second thing he does, he gets all excited. And he gets himself in the attack mode. And he takes off his hat and he waves it at Reno's soldiers, letting them know that he approves of what they're doing, that this is good. Okay? So he looks at the village, he looks into the valley, he watches Reno engage, he sees the Indian village for the first time, but he can't see the whole thing because of the number of trees down there. Second thing he does, he takes off his hat, gets in the attack mode, waves it excitingly to let Reno's men know that, hey, let's go, I approve of what you're doing. Okay? The third thing he does is he gathers his officers together and he orders his brother Tom to do something. See if you can figure out what he might ask him to do. So the third thing he does on top of the bluffs is he gathers his officers together. He has an officer's call and he orders his brother Tom to do something. What do you think he wants Tom to do? Knowing that what he's seeing and what he's thinking.
To go see how big the camp is?
Close. Just go the opposite way and get what?
The train?
The pack train. Very good. Because what's it have?
Ammunition.
All the ammunition. So what he does, the third thing is Custer gathers his officers together for an officer's call and he orders his brother Tom to get the pack train as quick as possible because he wants that ammunition. So the three things he does at the top of the bluff is he stops and watches Reno engage the hostiles across the Little Bighorn River. He gets excited, he gets in the attack mode number 2, and he waves his hat at Reno's soldiers showing his approval. And the third thing he does is he gathers his officers together and orders his brother Tom to get the pack train. If you look on that map I gave you, you see where it says Custer Advance? And under number 1 under that, what's it tell you? The things I just talked about, right? Those are the things that he did, so that helps you a little bit. Okay, keep your mind that that's where you're at right now. Well, what is general procedure when he ordered to do something? What did Tom Custer do?
Joe would do it.
What did he do though first?
Write it down.
Wrote down the order. And he's not going to go himself. he's going to send Sergeant Daniel Knipe. He's the one that's ordered to deliver the message to Captain who that's in charge of the pack train. No, who's in charge of the pack train? Thomas McDougall. Remember? Thomas McDougall. You look back in your notes. Benteen's in charge of the soldiers, but Thomas McDougall was in charge of the pack train. So, Custer orders his brother Tom to get the pack train as soon as possible. Tom writes down the instructions and he hands them to Sergeant Daniel Knipe, who is going to deliver that message that was written down straight to Captain Thomas McDougall, who's in charge of the pack train. Remember, the pack train is what? 2 miles behind Benteen, and he's sitting there waiting for him, right? So, does everybody understand where we're at? Here's what the instructions read, and I want you to write this down. Yep. McDougall. It's M small c, capital D, O-U-G-A-L-L. M small c, capital D, O-U-G-A-L-L. Now here are the orders that were written down. You need to write these down. I'll repeat them a few times. Here's what the instructions said that Knipe is taking to McDougall. Quote, bring pack train cross country as quick as possible. Bring pack train cross country as quick as possible. Need pack train, be quick. So here are the instructions or the orders. Quote, bring pack train cross country as soon, bring pack train cross country as quick as possible. Period. Need pack train. Period. Be quick. Period. Okay? Bring pack train cross country as quick as possible. Period. Need pack train. Period. Be quick. Now take a look at your map. What Custer does, and I've got these numbered, is he heads down which coulee? What coulee is he heading down? You can see the X's. Cedar Coulee. So Custer advances with his troops down Cedar Coulee toward what other coulee? Which hooks into that coulee. Take a look at your map. Medicine Tail Coulee. So Custer then advances through Cedar Coulee, which is on your ID sheet, toward Medicine Tail Coulee. Yeah.
So what's a coulee?
A coulee, that's a good question. A coulee is basically a, oh help me out here. It's basically a little washway. Coulees where water washes down to go to a river. And a coulee can be, you know, you can have a coulee where you're in this deep or this deep. It's just a kind of a trailer. It's a coulee where water would drain down into a, like the river, okay? It's just where you have a little bit of land on each side of you, okay? Now, you can, again, keep your map with you. So, Custer arrives at the spot where Medicine Tail Coulee meets Cedar Coulee. Do you all see that on your map? Mm-hmm. Now, to let you know how narrow Cedar Coulee was, how did the soldiers normally ride? Single file or two by two? Two by two. Well, the coulee was so narrow, Cedar Coulee, that the soldiers were then forced to ride single file. So they're riding single file down Cedar Coulee because of the narrow width. And Custer finally arrives at the spot where Medicine Tail Coulee meets Cedar Coulee. Do you see that? I got a number 2 there. And what's he going to do according to this map?
Gonna go out into coulee.
No, look at what it says, right by number 2. What's it say?
Oh, you divide two.
No, what's that?
It's second message to the pack train.
Custer sends second message pack train. Okay, so when Custer arrives at the spot where Medicine Tail Coulee meets Cedar Coulee, he asks Lieutenant W.W. Cook to send a second message to the pack train. Because he needs that pack train here, and he wants to make sure they get the message. So he has W.W. Cook send the second message. So what's W.W. Cook going to do? He's going to write it down. Do you think he's going to send it?
No.
He's going to go? No. Here's what the message read. And you need to write this down. This is the message that Cook wrote down from Custer's second order to send a second message. Here's what the message read, quote, Benteen, come on, big village, be quick, bring packs. Benteen, come on, big village, be quick, bring packs. And it was signed W.W. Cook, and he put P.S. bring packs, and he spelled packs the second time P-A-C-S instead of C-K-S. So Benteen, come on, big village, be quick, bring packs. And he signed W.W. Cook. And then he put P.S. bring packs, P-A-C-S. What'd he do? Misspelled it. Yeah, but it's key in Western history. Okay? So, Benteen, come on, big village, be quick, bring packs. Signed W.W. Cook. P.S. bring packs. Who did he give the message to deliver this time to? Who? Giovanni Martini, who was a trumpeter for the 7th Cavalry. The luckiest damn man on earth at this point. I'll explain why in a minute. So Cook writes down the message, Benteen, come on, big village, be quick, bring packs, W.W. Cook, P.S. bring packs, and he gives that message to Giovanni Martini, who is a trumpeter for the 7th Cavalry. By virtue of this, Martini will be the last surviving white man to see George Custer alive. Lucky son of a gun got sent with the message. Otherwise, what is his fate? Think about it. Okay? So Martini would be the last surviving white man to see George Custer alive. Well, as you can see, Martini comes back, and you can go to number 3. And what's it say at number 3 on the map? So Martini left Medicine Tail Coulee, the head of Medicine Tail Coulee. He travels back through Cedar Coulee toward the pack train, and just as he left Cedar Coulee, who does he run into? Boston Custer, because Boston Custer's horse had played out, and he was on foot trying to catch up with his 2 brothers to join him in this fight. Okay? So put this in your mind. Here comes Giovanni Martini on his horse out of Cedar Coulee towards the pack train, and he runs into Boston Custer, who is desperately trying on foot to get to his brothers because his horse played out on him. What's that? Just wouldn't go anymore. Yeah. Now, Martini arrives and gives Captain Benteen the message. And Benteen asks him what? Many questions. He has no idea where Custer is. He doesn't know what the situation is. He doesn't know anything about Reno. He doesn't know anything because he's been on this wild goose chase. So the first thing Benteen does is he asks Martini all kinds of questions. How'd that work for him? Why?
Because he didn't get there in time.
He didn't speak English because he was a foreign soldier. So he really didn't give Benteen any good information because he couldn't understand Benteen, and Benteen certainly couldn't understand him. So the questions that Benteen asked obviously did not get across. Martini was of Italian descent, and he could barely talk or understand English. And tomorrow, after we get done with the quiz, we will pick up what Custer does from here, because he is still at number 2 there, okay? Keep these maps, they're really important, all right? I think you'll find this pretty exciting when we get to it.